Stadium redevelopments have reached a new level. The Santiago Bernabéu, the home of the 14-time European Championship, Real Madrid. The already world-renowned stadium in Madrid is officially the most modern soccer stadium in the world. After 5 years, it set the bar for what a state-of-the-art arena should be, representing the ultimate upgrade. Its makeover was ludicrously expensive, costing around €1 billion, and requiring more steel than 120 double-decker passenger jets. Fans couldn't be more impressed with its futuristic interior and high-end facilities. From a VIP skybox to a hotel within the stadium, this is how the Santiago Bernabéu was revamped into the most advanced sports stadium in the world. New updates. The Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, at the heart of Madrid, Spain, is home to one of the most iconic teams in the world, and the place where legends walked. Witnessed numerous El Clasico matches between Real Madrid and FC Barcelona, one of the most intense rivalries in world football and memorable finals. A truly historical landmark, so normally the new upgrade surpasses the known limits of engineering. It's telling that the company in charge of revamping the stadium had to use ancient Roman techniques throughout the beginning of its renovations to accommodate the stadium before they began the hardcore construction. It all began in 2011, when the club's president, Florentino Perez, approved the stadium's most ambitious renovation project to date. Before that, the stadium had been revamped a couple of times throughout the decades, like its roof in 1982 or in 1992 when the stadium was changed to an all-seater. The stadium has a long history as a major landmark of Madrid, designed by architects Luis Alemany Soler and Manuel Muñoz Monasterio and finished in 1947. But was there any particular reason why it was chosen for such expensive renovations? Simple: money. The club wanted more sources of income for the Bernabéu, which, despite being a major stadium in the city center of one of the capitals of Europe, it's inactive for most of the year, except for about 35 to 40 matches. Why settle for that when it could become a more lucrative tourist experience? The club's looking to host concerts, massive events, and even other sports like basketball or NFL games, and potentially the 2030 World Cup. That's why the club approved its massive redesign and searched through an open competition for only the best architecture studios in Europe for help. The bid was won by Spanish studios L35 and Ribas & Ribas, with support from German studio GMP Architekten, who had experience with large-scale redesigns for stadiums through their work with the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The objective here would be to create new revenue streams and allow other types of events to seamlessly take place. So it was essential to do something with the stadium's pitch, to incorporate technology that could allow the stadium to reconfigure its layout quickly. And here's what they achieved. New pitch. First, the stadium's pitch was upgraded with a retractable mechanism housed in 6 underground levels. This was the hardest part to construct, as you can't just store a pitch nearly as large as 2 football fields in a tight inner-city location. There's simply not enough space for it. So, the architects divided it into 6 divisions that could be retracted without interfering with the underground rail system below. Real Madrid's YouTube channel even released these amazing clips of its pitch retraction technology, and it's nothing short of impressive. But you can't just store the pitch underground and expect it to be in top-notch condition for games right after. That's why the team took extra steps to make sure the Bernabéu's grass was the highest quality at all times, no matter the weather or external conditions. This is all thanks to a high-tech underground irrigation system to keep it fresh, and ultraviolet lighting to maintain its quality above the standards at all times, also used in the Tottenham Stadium redesign. Next, they had to modify the stadium's overall structure to resemble something like this, almost identical to a sci-fi spacecraft. Development. For this, the construction team disassembled the stadium's roof and used ancient Roman techniques to raise it to a new height, as to not interfere with training or games during the football season. This was so complex that it had to be done in stages, but the effort paid off, as the replaced roof allowed some upward space for the new seats to be put in at the top of the east side. This increased the stadium's capacity from 81,000 people to 85,000 people. 800-ton cranes were installed to raise the inner ring by string pulling it with hydraulic jacks and ski lifts. Two massive steel trusses were built from one end of the ground to another, allowing for more stability, and to support these, two new towers on the west side were built. This allowed better access for the audience and more evacuation points in case of emergency. After all, with all the new lavish features they surprised the public with, they needed stronger foundations. Therefore, the amount of steel used was more than 33,000 tons. The facade now surrounds the stadium 360 degrees, allowing for images to be projected there thanks to its new video screen. The roof is now fully closable, protecting games and other activities from bad weather, such as rain, snow, wind, and extreme heat. Innovative curved slats were also installed on the new roof, allowing natural sunlight to seep in to bathe the new state-of-the-art terrace areas. This feature and the introduction of a new pitch were to revolutionize the experience for the audience, looking to combine high-tech functionality with an aesthetic design, and things only get better from there. VIP fans now have access to exclusive boxes with panoramic views of the pitch, a 700 square meter sky bar, and a nightclub that changes atmospheres depending on the day. The objective here is to cater to as many different fan preferences as possible, and also allow the stadium to host private parties in all of these new areas. Shops for clothing brands like Adidas and Nike, or even luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, will be added alongside the east and west sides. There could also be leisure facilities like salons and spas. More green areas, which were lacking in the stadium's last prior redesign, would also be incorporated. It would also increase convenience with a 5-story underground car park, so people driving to the stadium wouldn't have to bother with looking for parking slots nearby, as they used to have in the past. But wait, there's more. Real Madrid's president is thinking about including more facilities outside of the stadium, inspired by Manchester's Etihad experience. The idea is to create environments that immerse the fans in the experience right before they even walk inside the stadium's walls. To do this, they propose creating fan zones, shops, bars, and restaurants, and possibly hotels to surround the stadium, although nothing clear has been established yet. But most impressively, a hotel will be opened within the stadium, with some of its rooms even offering a view of the pitch. This would be the first of its kind on the planet, and fans are already hyped about its grand opening. Funding. But to be clear, this billionaire endeavor wasn't funded by just the club. Billionaires and multimillionaires around the world usually search for real estate projects like this to diversify their investments, and the venue's new versatility is expected to more than make up for the renovation costs, thanks to a secret strategy proposed by the Real Madrid's directive, concerts. Bands like U2 and the Rolling Stones have performed at the Bernabéu in the past, as have standalone singers of the caliber of Frank Sinatra and Julio Iglesias. But most shocking will be Taylor Swift's performance in May 2024 for her Eras tour. She'd be the first international artist to perform at the stadium in a decade, and the first to hold concerts at the newly renovated stadium. She'd be then followed by Luis Miguel in July 2024. The endgame of this is to bring tourists to the stadium all year round, instead of just when there's games, and for this, they'll have some new attractions planned. Fans responded in the comments with great praise, calling it a true art in structural engineering. And of course, the Hala Madrid. But not everyone's been a fan of the renovations. Challenges. Whenever mega projects of any kind are concerned, there's gotta be some controversy. First, renovations were expected to last 3.5 years, but the COVID-19 pandemic put a wrench on that plan. 800 workers had to be on site every day during the pandemic just to meet the expectations of the expedited construction, and even then, a combination of the Russian invasion of Ukraine disrupting supply chains and the storm Filomena delayed things to 2023. Players and fans alike were scared the construction work was to stop the football. And unfortunately, it happened that way. Even with the expedited renovations, the pitch was unplayable in 2021 and forced Real Madrid to play their matches at the Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium, normally used by Real Madrid Femenino, their women's division, until the end of the COVID 2020 to 2021 season. It was only in late 2023 that work finally wrapped up. And since the Santiago Bernabéu is home to one of the most followed teams in the world, a curious narrative emerged by likening the stadium's new design to a printer of all things. That just goes to show how architectural reception by the public can be more varied than people expect. Redesign or not, it's clear that the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium represents a beacon of innovation and greatness in the football world. Whether fans see it as the most impressive case of sports architecture in the world or just a massively oversized printer, it's clear that the new redesign will bring sports experiences to an as-of-yet unseen level, where luxury, technology, convenience, and why not, some controversy to football history.